This haunted doll has been bringing so much chaos to my life. As you know, I got this haunted doll recently. I had noticed a strange smell and decided to cut the doll open as something was leaking out the back. What I found was obviously very disturbing and unexpected. It was a vial of human teeth. See the other videos about this doll if you want to see more in depth on what happened. But ever since owning this doll, it has been chaotic. The other spirits seem really disturbed, so something needs to change. In my last video, I made her a dress as a peace offering. And to go a little step further, I also found this old wine box. I want something that will keep her in one place because I keep finding her in different places than to where I left her. And she is also disturbing the other spirits and moving their dolls as well, because I keep finding the other dolls in positions that they would not normally be in. I'm putting the sage and the bell that came with her in the box as well. This box has a glass panel on the front, so this will be perfect for keeping her and her energy contained, because the paranormal activity in my house has been way more than usual since owning her. I have decided to display her on the wall next to the shelf that she was on, so she can still be near the other dolls, but she would definitely be more contained. I still don't know what to make of this haunted doll. It is definitely one of the most peculiar ones I've ever had.
Wait a minute, what the fuck? Are you okay, ma'am?
You shouldn't have a welcome mattress going into your house. Or a mat. Yeah, a mat. Specifically the welcome ones. Why? Because that's literally a welcome sign for all, either a demon, a spirit, or bad energy to come into your house. Anything is welcome now. Ooh. So they say welcome, boom. And there's 3 things I learned from a person that studies from feng shui. Yeah. You shouldn't have a mattress with a name on it. So like, we go family house, and it says on a mattress. You know why?
Not a mattress, just a mat.
Yeah, like a mat. Like
a
mat.
rug, yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't say your name, because when people come in and step on it, it's kind of like a negative energy.
Yeah, they're disgracing it.
They're disgracing it, yeah. There's another one where you can't have like go away, because it's already negative energy. So whenever people see that go away and they come into your house, already what is it? Negative energy filling through the house.
This might turn into an episode of watching really bad movies. I'm watching Mousetrap, and I've heard from multiple trusted sources that this is the worst movie they've ever seen. Yeah, I couldn't even finish that because this is undoubtedly one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I was fighting for my fucking life trying to even get through it. Let me start off by saying I am a huge Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey fan. That should set the stage right there. Because at least that's like comical and it's entertaining, and like the acting isn't like so bad that you feel like you want to like gouge your eyes out. And like Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey at least was like not trying to be serious. This movie was absolutely trying to be serious. The Mousetrap was literally trying to be the next Scream and failed miserably. And I say that because it made so many obvious Scream references but did it so poorly. From like the rules of horror movies to the knife swipe. It's so bad. I'm a horror lover, and like even the worst movie I've ever seen, I've had a blast watching it, but like this one, not so much. It doesn't make any fucking sense, and like I'm very good at suspending my beliefs in horror movies. Like again, I love Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. That makes no fucking sense. But again, at least that makes no sense in like a comical way. This makes no sense in like the writers have one brain cell. They were like doing parkour to get from like plot point A to plot point B and like failing terribly. Mickey can teleport but is like deterred by bright light, and it also never explains anything. It never explains like who the killer is, even though we have an idea, but it doesn't explain like why or how or anything at the fuck all. Like this movie ended and I was like, this can't be the end. Like they have to like explain it somehow, right? No, they don't. But if anything, they set up for a sequel with the end credit scene. It literally makes no fucking sense, and it's just not fun. It's lame. I'm all for a low budget bad movie. Again, I love them, but this one was just trying to be serious. I give this movie a 1 out of 10. And I know people are going to go and watch it because I'm saying how bad it is, because I did the same thing. 2 of my friends on here told me this was like the worst movie they'd ever seen, so of course I went and spent money on it. So I get that you're going to see it. However, I highly recommend you not spend money on it and just wait until it's streaming. because my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. 1 out of 10.
I don't think they actually want Trump back in the office though. Like
Wait,
that's
why?
100%.
Why?
There was a study that I read about a guy that studies all about like the US presidents and their lineage. So every US president that's been in office is related to one king. He has a theory that these presidents are not getting voted in based on the people's votes. It's who has the closest and most direct bloodline to the king. This girl in 7th grade, she did a history project. She listed down all the presidents, boom, lined up to one king named King John from the house of Plantagenet. And there's folklore around this that everybody in the house is a descendant from a demon.
Damn.
Whatever you do, do not watch this at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because The Kid in the Camera is one of the most disturbing horror shorts I've seen in a long time. Not only are the scares perfectly well executed, this kind of thing happens a lot. The Kid in the Camera is a very cautionary tale about a boy named Kalen, who on his birthday is gifted a camera which he absolutely loves. He immediately starts taking pictures until an accident does occur. He unfortunately trips and breaks his camera. Leaving Kalen absolutely devastated and unable to sleep, he hears a very strange knock at his window. He then gets a very strange visit from a being known as the Kipsneed, who's apparently a type of sleep fairy to make sure that all the kids are in bed asleep. And with Kalen unable to sleep because of his broken camera, the Kipsneed has an idea. The Kipsneed asks Kalen to follow him to his other dimension to help him fix the camera. And as Kalen walks alone following the voice of the Kipsneed, he then takes various photos to make sure he doesn't lose his way. And if you're anything like me, you can already see where this is going. I don't want to tell you much more because I highly recommend checking out the only 7-minute short for free on YouTube, produced by Grumbled Inc. Entertainment about a year ago. This is so solidly scary that it honestly should be played in like PSAs like back in like high school and middle school. But if you want the full effect, you gotta watch it at night. And remember kids, if the Kipsney knocks on your window at 3 o'clock in the morning, you may not want to follow it.
Someone just went, ooh.
That was me. That was me.
Okay, thank
That was me.
God, dude, Jesus.
Who do you want up there?
It's from the 90s.
What? What? I'm getting out! Get the fuck out! What the fuck Get the fuck out!
She was abducted while playing outside by the grossest man ever. This is the frightening abduction of 8-year-old Sarah Payne. Sarah Evelyn Isabel Payne was born on October 13, 1991 to her parents Sarah and Michael. She had 2 older brothers named Lee and Luke and a younger sister named Charlotte. Everyone described Sarah as just a bundle of joy. She loved playing with her siblings. She loved being a girly girl. So she would always play dress up. She would play with her dolls, with her mom's makeup, and she was just such a kind little girl. On July 1st, 2000, the Payne family took a trip to the quiet beach village of Kingston Gorse in West Sussex, England to visit their grandparents. The kids loved going there because they could play in the beach, they could play on the sand, and they could play in the big open area that their grandparents had. The family was hanging out at the beach, and after some time, the parents and their grandparent decided to leave. However, the kids didn't want to leave just yet. They were having so much fun at the beach, so they begged their parents to let them stay there and play by themselves. Now at this time, Lee was 13, Luke was 11, Sarah was 8, and Charlotte was 5. Though their parents said that they could stay under the condition that they had to do exactly what their older brother said. The kids agreed and they stayed behind and continued playing. After some time, the kids stopped playing at the beach and they headed up to the cornfield that was right in front of their grandparents' home. There was like this rope swing there and the kids loved playing there, so they began playing a game of dinosaurs. However, at some point, Sarah fell and accidentally hurt herself and she got upset. She didn't want to play the game anymore and she told her brothers that she was going to go back to her grandma's house where their grandma was waiting for them. Their grandma's house was just a short distance away, but either way, Luke was like, no, don't leave, like just wait with us and then we'll go back together. But Sarah was really upset and she ignored her brother. She started making her way through the cornfield when her other brother Lee ran after her. He tried to calm Sarah down, but as he was doing this, his other little sister Charlotte began to cry. She had also fallen and accidentally hurt herself, so Lee says that he turned away for just a split second, and when he looked back to where Sarah was, she was gone. Lee said that he was within touching distance of Sarah, so he just didn't understand how she had vanished so quickly. He began looking around and he was distracted by the sound of screechy tires. So he turned around and that's when he saw a white van passing by. Lee started looking at this white van and he saw that this really gross and disgusting and just creepy guy was driving the van, and he actually made eye contact with the driver. The man smiled at Lee, waved at him, and then sped away. What Lee didn't know at the time is that his little sister Sarah was in the back of that van. Okay, go to part 2.
Here's what your favorite horror movie says about you. Now before we get into that, if you love all this horror, all this spooky just as much as I do, be sure to hit that follow button. If your favorite horror movie is It Follows, then you're either a conservative parent or you have one who's scared of their child having fun time, if you know what I mean. So you've either shown your child this repeatedly or you were shown this yourself to deter you from doing so. If your favorite horror movie is Halloween, then you're the strong silent type and you care deeply about your family. You let your actions do the talking for you. When you set goals for yourself, you're determined to achieve it no matter how long it takes. If your favorite horror movie is A Nightmare on Elm Street, then you're most likely a dreamer, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You're not really living in reality, you're living in a dream state, and you're most likely chasing your dreams, your fantasies. And you won't stop chasing these dreams until you reach them. If your favorite horror movie is Scream, then it's obvious that you're a person who's self-aware. You're cognizant of any situation that you're in and you're able to gauge expectations and then flip them on their head. You're also very unpredictable, and when people think that they found the answers on you, you change the questions. Now, if your favorite horror movies are It, then you're very nostalgic of your childhood days. You're longing for Saturday cartoons playing at the parks with your friends. You miss the old days. You try to live through and recapture your childhood days, but that's not gonna happen. Every day we get older and it's unlikely to do so. So you call up your friends and you hang out with them to pass the time by. And of course to feel a little nostalgic.
Here's some really weirdly specific things in horror movies that just freak me the fuck out. Any movie where the characters get stuck somewhere makes me mentally unstable. And I don't mean like stuck in a cave or stuck in an elevator, even though I don't really fucking like that either. But I mean stuck as in they like go to exit the door that they came in and then they open that door and it's just like an endless long labyrinth of fucking hell. So like Grave Encounters or also this movie Vivarium that I watched this week. It just makes me so uncomfortable. Next up is when a person repeats the same words in like the same exact tone and cadence. So like specifically this scene from this movie, The Possession.
Dad, you scared me. Dad, you scared me.
No. I remember watching this movie in the theater and I was literally like catatonic during that stage. I don't fucking like it. Next up is creepy ass fucking crawling or contorting. This scene from The Visit destroyed me. Mentally and emotionally. Fucking destroyed me. Also, It 2017 is one of my favorite movies, but what I'm about to show you next is Criminal. This fucks me up. Nope. Next up is unnaturally wide open mouths. I can't fucking stand it. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to you, but it needs to happen. What is this? My fucking whole ass head could fit in here. And finally, I have children. That's all.
I have retrieved another album, similar in nature to the Oldry family bestiary, which showed the things once held in St. George's Keep. This particular album was put together by Harold Oldry Jr., the family's greatest expert on vampires. It reveals much, starting with a mysterious location marked as Maryland Asylum, seemingly a location where the creatures were studied. The album also reveals the second Harold Oldry's adversaries, vampires of startlingly different appearance, demeanor, and supernatural ability. I will give here a quick preview of some of these fiendish entities. To see in more detail, join my live streams or stay tuned to my channels. Among the new information are much stranger, unique vampiric beings, as well as some of the most beautiful specimens I've ever seen. It even shows an elder, possibly a haunter, the people of the day believed was a demon. I was able to procure this album, again through my ancestor's ally, Alexandra, the vampire that hunts her own kind. I'll be on live and posting new videos often.
Do not watch this video if you have a fear of killer clowns. I'm True Crime Caitlin, and this is the murder of Marlene Warren. In May 1990, 40-year-old Marlene was in her Florida home with her son Joe and a couple of his friends, and they were all eating breakfast together. Joe had recently broke his leg and had to have it put in a cast, so everyone was doing their best to try and cheer him up a little bit when something strange happened. A clown approached the house and knocked on the door. Marlene opened it, and there stood the clown bearing gifts, which everyone presumed were for Joe. The clown held a bunch of flowers alongside 2 balloons, one of which had the words "You're the greatest" wrote on it. Marlene gladly took the gifts, gazing down at the flowers, saying that they were, quote, "so pretty," when out of nowhere, in a split second, the clown, who was clutching a gun, pointed it in Marlene's face and shot her. Joe and his friends scrambled to try and help Marlene to call 911, and when they paid up, the clown was just slowly, casually walking back to their white car, climbed in, and drove away as if nothing had happened. Joe tried to pursue the clown, but with his broken leg, it was impossible. Marlene would be rushed to the hospital, and over the course of the next 2 days, Joe spent all of his time with her. In them 2 days, Marlene told her son how much she loved him before she sadly succumbed to her injuries, dying. Police conducted a thorough investigation, and they started off by looking into Marlene's abusive husband, Mike. However, the police were able to concretely rule him out of committing the murder. He had a rock-solid alibi. They continued on, trying to track down where the killer clown had purchased the flowers and the balloons from, and they were able to narrow it down to a specific supermarket when they went and reviewed CCTV footage and spoke to the cashier workers. They were told that it was a brunette woman who had made the purchase. And after speaking with other people, they were able to narrow down the person who bought the clown suit, and the people who saw the woman purchasing the clown suit was also a brunette woman. The description of this person, a woman with long dark hair and dark eyes, also perfectly matched Sheila Keane, who just so happened to be Mike's secret girlfriend. Mike, who was abusive husband. Eventually, the white car which the killer clown took off in was found in a car park around about 8 miles from the crime scene. When a search of this car was conducted, they were able to extract a long dark hair, which visually was consistent with Sheila's hair, alongside some orange fibres which would be consistent with a wig from a clown costume. However, due to the DNA technology at the time, police weren't able to 100% say that this brown hair belonged to Sheila, and so the case went cold. Over the next couple of years, Sheila and Mike would go on to get married, they owned several businesses together, and they would go on to retire together. This is an eerie picture of Sheila dressing up as a clown for Halloween. 27 years after Marlene's assassination, DNA technology came on leaps and bounds, and so because of this, the police were able to run tests on the brown hair that was found in the killer clown's getaway vehicle, and they were able to determine with certainty that that hair belonged to Sheila Keane. She would be arrested in October 2017, and she actually went on to accept a plea deal in order to escape the death penalty. So Sheila pled guilty to the second-degree murder of Marlene Warren, and for this she received a sentence of 12 years imprisonment.
There's another theory where the richest people in the world have the worst handwriting. Kanye, whenever he releases his track list, it's so shit.
Yo!
Drake too. Elon Musk, they all have shit handwriting.
Damn, take it a step further.
Yep.
Every single doctor has bad handwriting.
Bro.
It's literally chicken scratch.
Bro, tell me why my doctor hands me my symptoms and I can't know what the fuck are these symptoms. Yeah, you know why though? Yeah, it's because their brain is moving too fast for their hand to write.
Damn. I think that's why I have bad handwriting too. I have shit handwriting.
I was gonna say you have shit handwriting.
I know, it looks like a kid.
Yeah, it's actually bad. So fortunes are coming your way, my brother.
But this is a story from the Titanic. It's one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. This guy, John Harper, 39 years old. He's on his way to the U.S. to go to the Moody Church. He's with his daughter and his sister. You know, the story goes, the Titanic gets hit, begins to sink. I mean, it's a free-for-all. Everyone's rushing to lifeboats, you know, looking after themselves. So this is what he does. He's going person to person. Eventually it sinks. He ends up with a life jacket and he's sinking in the water. It's cold and he looks at someone who's grabbing onto like some floating debris. The debris isn't enough to support the guy's weight, and he goes over to him. He's like, do you know who Jesus is? And the guy says no. He hands him the life jacket, and then literally a few moments later he freezes and sinks. The story came to light when the man who was saved was at a survivors meeting, and he said, I was the last convert that he ever evangelized.
That's crazy.
There's that opposite story of him where it was that chef or something, and he got so drunk that he was able to survive in the water because his
kept him warm or something.
Yeah, it just kept him alive in the cold water. And he lived.
Pickled himself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The complete inverse of that story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man,
I'm gonna survive this if it kills me.
A nice relaxing massage. Yes! You need 6 months off. She's wiping all the sand off me. Otherwise it's gonna be like a scrub. More like a scrub than a massage. Yeah, no, I don't want the scrub. I just want the massage oil. Yeah. Ah. Yeah, good. Oh. Good. Guys, I asked for strong and that's what I'm getting. I'm getting strong. Oh. Oh. Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna feel good afterwards. Oh. Hi, how are you? Good. Good. Get a massage, guys. They will use too much oil because it's easier for them. They can just kind of glide over your skin. But she's using just a little bit of oil. It means that she really needs to okay. Teach her so she doesn't break my back. Stronger.
I haven't eaten yet. I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry.
You're too soft. See, you're a little girl. You're not strong muscles before you can be a massage lady. You need bigger muscles.
We will just go to the gym during weekend.
No, weight resistance training and then
6 months.
Yeah, you need 6 months.
Yeah, oh my God, I have to pay for the monthly.
No problem. After that, you can be strong massage lady and make the money back from the gym membership.
So how much per hour?
Yeah, per hour. So they charge 900.
900?
Yeah.
How many persons per day? 1 hour per
Yeah,
massage?
but I think they are doing 5 or 6 people per day.
6 people per day.
Yeah, it's okay, right?
6 people plus times 900.
Yeah.
900.
Yeah, it's good, right?
I can do proper massage with you. How much more if the guy is much.
The whole stream didn't know that while the stream was going on, he was actually murdering his girlfriend. So on, I think it was December 18th, near Christmas, he named it the Night of Christmas Violence, right? And already that title is mad sus, right?
Yeah.
And he said at the beginning of the stream, he was talking to his camera, yo guys, chat, due to technical difficulties, I might not be able to chat with you guys. Okay, that's another very strange thing. And the chat noticed that whenever he was streaming, he would implement the word Natalie weirdly into his conversation. So everyone was like, okay, let's just watch him during the stream. When people were typing, he wasn't responding, he was talking about different things.
Yeah.
Right? He was actually murdering his girlfriend.
Yeah, wait, he wasn't showing it.
Yeah, he wasn't showing it. It was a pre-recording. Cause he thought he was smart. And if I'm streaming,
that's crazy.
The police would never know
that's
your
your
alibi.
Yes.
The only reason why he got caught is because in the stream he would.
ये थी जम्मू श्रीनगर हाईवे. तो अगर आप सर्च करोगे ना जम्मू श्रीनगर हाईवे के बारे में, तो ये इंडिया का मतलब इसको बोला जाता है कि भाई यहाँ पे मत जाया करो काइंड ऑफ. और खूनी नाला भी बोलते हैं इसको. तो सर्च करके देखोगे तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारी हॉन्टेड स्टोरी ये सब है. तो एक बार की बात है और ये मेरे को मेरे दोस्त ने सुनाई थी कि उसको सुनने में आई थी कि एक कपल था, उनकी अभी नई नई मैरिज हुई थी, ठीक है. तो ये दोनों अब मैरिज हुई है, कहीं घूमने चलते हैं. तो इन दोनों ने प्लान बनाया कि जम्मू की साइड चलते हैं और घूम लेंगे वहाँ पे जो भी है. तो निकलते अपनी गाड़ी लेकर. और इनको अब नहीं आइडिया, भाई वो जम्मू श्रीनगर का मेन जो वहाँ के लोकल है उन्हें आइडिया होता है, सबको तो नहीं, हमें भी नहीं पता कि इतनी सारी चीजें कहाँ हैं. तो इन्हें भी नहीं पता था. ये निकल गए गाड़ी लेकर और ये पहुंचते हैं उस पॉइंट पे, जम्मू श्रीनगर हाईवे जो मेन पॉइंट था जहाँ पे बोला जाता है कि भाई इस टाइम पे मत ही आया करो, सुबह सुबह आ जाया करो. इन्हें नहीं पता था, ये रात को पहुंच गए वहां पर. अब ये वहां पहुंचे ना तो इन्हें थोड़ा अजीब सा महसूस होने लग गया था, जैसे कि ठंड कुछ ज्यादा ही बढ़ गई थी वहां पे और इन्हें कुछ अजीब सी बदबू सी भी आ रही थी. मतलब एक होता है ना वाइब होती है भाई, वहां पे ना बहुत नेगेटिव वाइब इन्हें महसूस हो रही थी. अच्छा. तो ये लोग जा रहे हैं, अब स्लोली चल रहा है क्योंकि पहाड़ी इलाके में स्ट्रीट लाइट्स ये सब नहीं होती, तो वही अपनी हेडलाइट्स ऑन करके नॉर्मली धीरे धीरे स्पीड में जा रहे हैं और एकदम से इनकी गाड़ी खराब हो जाती है बिल्कुल बीच रोड में, आगे पीछे दूर दूर तक कोई भी नहीं। अब भाई जो हस्बैंड होता है वो बोलता है अपनी वाइफ को कि मैं थोड़ा देखता हूँ गाड़ी में क्या क्या हुआ है और तू बैठ आराम से अंदर ही रह, तू बाहर मत निकल क्योंकि खाली इलाका है, कुछ पता नहीं आजकल तो क्या क्या हो जाता है। बिल्कुल। तो बोलती ठीक है। तो हस्बैंड देखता है और अपनी गाड़ी में देख रहा है वो, तो उसको समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि भाई क्या हुआ, क्यों ऐसी गाड़ी खराब हो गई बीच इसमें, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा। तो अब वो काफी टाइम लगा लेता है, मतलब 10-15 मिनट वो अपनी साइड से कोशिश करता है, कुछ नहीं होता। तो वो बोलता है एक काम करता हूँ, मैं थोड़ा आगे चल के देख आता हूँ, कोई हेल्प मिल जाए तो ले आऊंगा, तू गाड़ी से मत उतरियो, मैं ले आता हूँ। ठीक है ऐसा कर लो। वो जा रहा है भाई सीधा सीधा कि कोई मिल जाए हेल्प के लिए, कोई इंसान मिल जाए, मैकेनिक कुछ भी मिल जाए। और उस इलाके में कोई भी नहीं है क्योंकि लोकल्स को तो पता है इस समय यहाँ पे नहीं आना। जा रहा है और एक टाइम बाद वो दिखना बंद हो गया।
The FBI says that this man is the most prolific serial killer in all of American history, and no one really ever talks about him. He went nearly undetected for over 40 years and took the lives of 93 women. He's also very well known for having drawn all 93 of his victims, which is creepy and haunting, but it ended up being very helpful. Samuel Little was born to a teenage S-worker. He claims to have been born in prison, but also that his biological mother abandoned him on the side of the road while he was a newborn. He was raised by his grandmother, and from an incredibly young age, like 5 years old, Samuel Little was showing concerning behavior. Between the ages of 5 and 8 years old, he developed an obsession with women's necks that would then intertwine with all of his fantasies, including choking and strangulation. As a young child, he began committing petty crimes, which landed him in a reform school for troubled boys, but this school did not help Samuel Little in any way. He says it was the kind of place where the older, stronger boys would assault and essay the younger, weaker ones, and it was at this place that Samuel Little became the victim and the abuser. After leaving the home for boys, he went on to commit more crimes, landing himself in juvie and then adult prison multiple times. Then as a young adult into his adulthood, Samuel Little became a drifter, nomad type, traveling across all of the United States, committing many different crimes, including murder. The first that we know of is in Miami, Florida, 1970. He says he went to Miami to develop a relationship with his biological mom, but this relationship soon became intimate. It was in Miami that one night out in a bar, Samuel Little met a woman, a 33-year-old woman named Mary. He was able to convince her to leave with him. He drove them to a secluded area where he put his hands around her neck and strangled her. Sadly, her body would not be found and then identified for nearly half a century. Samuel Little's victims were the most vulnerable of women. Typically, they were S-workers, single moms trying to make ends meet. They were addicts, homeless women, or mentally disabled women. His victims would all be strangled because of his obsession with women's necks. Sometimes he would also essay his victims, but most of the time, just the act itself was enough to get him off. Samuel Little was also arrested like 30 times during his killing spree for various different crimes, mostly shoplifting and other theft. He would spend 1 year in prison here, 2 years in prison here. He was never locked up for long because all of his arrests were in different states. In 1982, Samuel Little was seen leaving a bar with a mentally disabled woman named Patricia Ann Mount. This would be the last time she was ever seen alive. When her body was later found, Samuel Little was the prime suspect and he was arrested. Sadly, a jury acquitted Samuel Little for this murder, and now he's more confident than ever. He's just gotten away with murder. Samuel Little was killing dozens of women across all of the United States for nearly half a century and was getting away with it. Samuel Little also had a handful of girlfriends throughout his killing spree. What these women really knew about his crimes is unknown, but one of his girlfriends was actually admitted into a psychiatric hospital after her relationship with Little, after she kept rambling on and on about dead girls. In 2013, investigators from LA were doing DNA testing on 3 cold cases on 3 murders that they had unsolved from the 1980s. when they finally got a DNA match on Samuel Little. He had to be wheeled into his trial. He was 74 years old at this time. He was very nasty, very cocky, but he was maintaining his innocence. But he was found guilty of all 3 murder charges that he was being charged for this time and was sentenced to 3 life sentences. 5 years later, in 2018, Samuel Little was being investigated, questioned multiple times by an investigator who thought that Samuel Little was responsible for a cold case that he had. One cold case. Imagine his shock when Samuel Little confesses to have killed 93 women. Allegedly, Samuel Little had a photographic memory and was able to draw all 93 of his victims with insane accuracy. With the drawings that he created behind prison and also his confession, they were able to line up his victims, his confessions, his drawings with a huge list that they had of cold cases, Jane Does, and missing persons across the entire country. More than 60 of his victims' drawings have been definitively matched as of today, leaving another 30 or so sadly left unclaimed and unknown. But the FBI does believe that he has all 93 victims that he confesses, which makes him the largest number of confirmed victims of any serial killer in United States history. Samuel Little said a lot of really gross things about his victims, like he loved them and that they loved him and that they're actually friends and that they will be together forever in the afterlife. Samuel Little passed away of natural causes in December of 2020 at the age of 80 years old. As far as I know, the FBI is still trying to identify the rest of Samuel Little's victims from his drawings, so I do urge if you or anyone you know has a missing loved one that is female, from the years of 1970 to 2012 to look at Samuel Little's drawings. And if you watched to the end of this video, thank you so much. Let me know what case you want to see me cover next. If there's another notorious serial killer you want to see me dive deeper into, let me know in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.
There was this story. He was on the dark web with a picture of him with a chain around his neck. This boy went missing. He pretty much just told his mom that he wanted to go out with his friend and they're gonna go meet up with some other friends, right? Bro, I think he was like 11 years old. The mom got a call hours later that he didn't go to his 5 o'clock class and he went missing. So what happened was the friend that he was supposed to go with supposedly took him to go meet with like this worker. I'm not gonna say what it is to not to get censored, but this worker. I think he's still missing.
No.
I think he's like, to this day, he's still missing. He would be around 30 years old right now.
What the heck?
But what's crazy is they were looking for evidence and they found some. He was on the dark web with a picture of him with a chain around his neck. Literally his most accurate depiction was like, it's exactly him. So clear, crystal clear. And that was him on the dark web. So he got
as an
kidnapped.
11-year-old though? Or?
Yeah, as a kid.
Oh.
As a kid, still the kid. And was just taken away and just posted up.
Ew.
Crazy. Yo, what's crazy? They also found evidence. They caught a picture. You know those
Ka Yang had effectively cooked little baby Mirabelle on high heat. That's how they describe it. Mirabelle's official cause of death would be thermal injuries resulting in overexposure to microwave radiation in a microwave. Her insides have been described as being fried from the inside. The pathologist testified that the radiation from the microwave cooked through her stomach and small intestines. The investigators, they sit Ka Yang and her mother down for an interview, and they want to know what happened when you were alone with that baby because you did not fall on his space heater. Ka Yang explains it was just a normal day. Everything was normal. She gave Mirabelle a bottle and a pacifier that morning. I mean, nothing was strange. Well, nothing except there was something that was a little strange. Mirabelle's eyes were moving back and forth. They were kind of almost like if you were tracking a fly, or if you're doing a drunk driving test where you have to track side to side. Her eyes, it's like she was following a fly left to right. And that's when Ka checked and there was no fly. Ka would tell the investigators, it kind of scared me a bit, but she tried not to think anything too deep into it because she believed in God. The investigators are so intrigued by this. This was not the line of questioning they thought they were going to go down. Now, Ka doesn't necessarily change her story per se, but she starts adding to it. In a subsequent interview with both Ka Yang and her mom, they both bring up the words spirits and possessions. For the average interrogator, that is sending off massive alarm bells. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that the spirits made you do it? Is that what we're doing? Because that's a whole different story. It's that's a whole different defense, honestly. What are you saying exactly? The spirit called me, so I had a seizure. Before the seizure, Mirabelle was moving her eyes back and forth, looking at something. She was crying and spitting out her pacifier. What was she looking at? The spirit and demon together. Through Kai Yang and her husband's statements, the authorities gathered that Kai Yang's new version of events included her seeing a Caucasian demon or spirit outside staring at her and Mirabelle through the window. So suddenly they're like, okay, you're seeing spirits. Now, it's reported that Kai Yang told her husband that the spirit was walking around outside the house and wanted their baby. In the end, the prosecution argued that the jury should find Kai Yang guilty as she cooked her baby on high heat like a piece of meat. Kai Yang was found guilty of first-degree murder and assault on a child, resulting in death. She was sentenced to 25 years to life.
Believe me, this came as much as a surprise to me as it will to you. Firstly, I'm a massive Tim Burton fan. Like, early Tim Burton. And the original Beetlejuice, for me, is a classic. I love it. And I'm not a massive lover of horror comedy. In fact, I quite dislike horror comedy. But I really enjoyed this. Was it perfect? No. But did it give me the feels? Did it make me feel like I was a wee little nipper again? Yes, it did. There was just enough of the old stuff in this for me to get all of them nostalgic tingles, but it didn't rely solely on callbacks to the original film. There are obviously things in it, but this is its own story. You know, it's not trying to just recreate Beetlejuice. I had fun with it, and that's really all I want from these types of films. A good time. See you later.
Are horror stories based on real life, or is real life based on horror stories? So this guy says that he never realized that a horror story or movie could be based on real life until it happened to him. So this happened in the 90s and he was 6 years old. And of course, back in the day, TVs are nothing like they are now. From personal experience, I've also seen these kind of TVs, but if you've never seen them, let me show you. So the guy in the story says that his family finally got a TV, and it was something similar to this. Controls did not exist. You had to get up and crank that little knob to find a channel. Also, not all the channels were working. You had to move the antenna and change the channels until you found one that worked. Every other one would be like straight up static. And of course, TVs back in the day were like huge, boxy. They would take a lot of room in the house. And again, there's no controllers, so you physically had to get up, turn on the TV, turn it off, change the channel, move around the antenna. It was a fucking whole process, okay? And yes, I'm telling you all this for a reason. He explains that his family set the TV in a way that if you're at the dinner table, you can also watch TV at the same time. So he explains that it had been 2 nights in a row where he has to get up to go use the restroom, and he has to pass by that dinner table, but as he's about to get there, he hears that staticky noise from the TV. He thinks it's weird because again, these TVs will not come on their own. Like, you literally have to physically push those buttons. If you have ever like touched one of those, you know what I'm talking about. It's not a TV that will come on its own. And he is 6 years old and he knows that these TVs shouldn't be turning on their own. And also, for those past 2 days, his mom and dad have been blaming him for waking up and having the TV on and on static. And yes, it was easy for them to blame him because the dad's like, it wasn't me, and the mom's like, well, it wasn't me, and process of elimination, it had to be him. However, Brandon is so scared that he doesn't even know what to tell them because obviously it wasn't him, but it didn't matter because he would get blamed for it anyway. So the third night comes around and again, he really has to pee and he's so scared. He does not want to go because he's scared that he's gonna see that TV on and with the static, and he's trying to hold it in, but he cannot. So he says that he just ran straight to the restroom, didn't look around, didn't stay around to hear anything. He pees, and when he comes out, he hears that dreadful static noise. He said that out of curiosity, he had to go look because what if it was his parents turning on that TV, or like, who knows? So he said that he goes and he peeks in and he sees the TV static with nobody in the room, except this time he sees a face on the TV with the static. He explains that it's a face and it looks like it's trying to come out of that TV. The moment he sees this, he says that he is stuck, like he cannot move. His heart starts racing and he starts seeing more. In that moment, he sees something behind the TV, 2 arms coming out and grab a hold of the front of the TV, and someone just peeks out from behind. He still remembers every detail till this day because he explains that the face had a lot of red marks, but was very like pitch black, and that the hands had almost like, they look raggedy, but the actual skin was just black. It wasn't a shadow, like it was all black. He doesn't know how this happened, but he was finally able to like not stay frozen. He screams at the top of his lungs and he runs straight to his bedroom. He said it felt like seconds and his mom ran into his bedroom. He thought he was about to get screamed at and get in trouble, but his mom grabs him, hugs him, and he notices that his mom is also crying, and she stays there hugging him in his room for hours, praying. He's an adult now, and they never spoke about this again. Like, after this, there wasn't any communication, but to him, his mom reacting in that way just confirmed that something was there that night. So if you want to listen to this story in Spanish, it is from Hablemos de lo que no existe, and this is what the video will look like. This straight up sounds like something out of a horror story, which now I completely understand why he said what he said at the beginning. But what do you guys think? I don't even want to watch TV all day, maybe all week.
I have a theory that all Tupperware containers, they make it to where the lids eventually dissolve in the sink or dishwasher, because you can never find the lids for these Tupperware.
That would honestly be.
That's where they're. Yeah.
Like after 4 or 5 washes, they just like.
Because you just throw it in the sink,
washes away.
throw it in the sink, or you throw it in the dishwasher, and then you're unloading. You don't even pay attention.
You don't think, oh, I had this lid in there. That can't be far off.
It's just because your wife has poor organizational skills.
No, think about it. It's a universal thing.
We're all missing Tupperware stuff.
I like that perspective.
Dissolving chemical activated by like the 4th microwave.
And they probably learned
You
it from
microwave your
socks.
Tupperware?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you guys do that?
I
No.
do it.
No!
I do it too.
Stop doing
This is
that.
how my wife responds.
I microwave my styrofoam.
Stop doing that!
That feels risky.
You got like 6 wings left in a styrofoam thing.
Right.
I don't need to put it in there for like 3 minutes. I'm just gonna like
Throw
get
it on a plate.
enough to...
Styrofoam makes me nervous.
Then you have to wash the
I
plate.
stand by you for the Tupperware, but styrofoam spooks me in the microwave. Tupperware.
You
I'm
take
like,
a plate, aluminum foil, so you don't dirty the plate.
You never hear about the Mr. Beast case?
No, Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast committed a war crimes on his YouTube channel, but the video was never posted.
No.
Yeah.
Getting canceled?
Yo, you didn't see the videos that are going out? Damn, there's this guy. He's a YouTuber. He just posted, I think like last month or a couple weeks ago, he was an ex-member of the Mr. Beast team, and he was part of a lot of the content, and specifically one video that he was in, a certain challenge. The challenge being him being locked into a room for as long as he can.
Wait, that came out.
Yeah, but it was not that one. There was another one. The video you saw and the video posted was the second try. Because the first try, one of the things that they did to the person was never turn the lights off. And the guy in there was going crazy. He was going insane. This is dead ass legality. You cannot leave the lights on in a prison cell. You cannot leave the lights on when you're torturing somebody. That's literally torture. Like, that's a war. Like, you can't do that. Bro was doing it for a YouTube video.
How much would it cost to remove Michael Schofield's tattoos from Prison Break in 2024? Can we take a moment to talk about how stupid of a plot point it was when the creators of Prison Break decided to remove Michael Schofield's tattoos at the beginning of season 4 to prevent people from recognizing him? Whilst that did make sense in the storyline, the real reason that they decided to do that is to ease productions, as it would take them hours to apply the tattoos before each shoot. What doesn't make sense is the way they managed to remove all of his tattoos in a matter of a single episode, showing no signs of healing, burns, or skin damage. So how much would it cost to get the tattoos removed? I want to know what you think. Leave your best guesses in the comments and reasoning why. And just a little side point that makes this whole thing make even less sense than it did is, did anyone realise that Michael's brother Lincoln also has tattoos, but yet somehow he didn't have to have his removed? How does this make sense?
This boy went missing. I think this happened in Portugal, but he pretty much just told his mom that he wanted to go out with his friend and they're gonna go meet up with some other friends, right? Bro, I think he was like 11 years old. The mom got a call hours later that he didn't go to his 5 o'clock class and he went missing. What happened was the friend that he was supposed to go with supposedly took him to go meet with like this. I'm not gonna say what it is. Bro, he disappeared for, I think he's still missing.
No.
He would be around 30 years old right now.
What the heck?
But what's crazy is they were looking for evidence and they found some. He was on the with a picture of him with literally is most accurate. It's exactly him. So clear, crystal clear. Yo, what's crazy? They also found evidence. They caught a picture. You know those pictures when you're on a roller coaster?
Yeah.
Damn, they caught it by accident. He was in the back of somebody's picture on the roller coaster beside some middle-aged man.
Oh, so he's free.
That's the person that took him, fam.